Oh, hi. I didn't see you come in. I didn't realize we were on live here. Even though I was the one that hit the button that said go live. I didn't see you come in. So, welcome. Hey, let's hang out for a bit. I have to get going not too long. I don't want to make these like 2-hour streams. I don't think anybody will watch a 2-hour stream. So we'll keep it down to about 55 minutes. And today is just more of a hangout here. I'm getting my stuff together. I'm getting my life together. I recently just purchased a new vehicle for myself so I can feel more confident and enjoy my myself through having a vehicle that reflects my personality. Practical, yet with a little bit of style. And I have been on a warpath when it comes to losing weight. I'm doing a good job of that. So many readings, and I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited to be here. My brain is starting to focus more. It's gonna be good. So more Filmmaker IQ stuff. I'm pretty sure that. Well, I'm not pretty sure. The table reads will be next. I'll be developing those and putting those out there for you guys. So I am what's up. I want to say hi and see what's up. Let's see who's talking to me. Mathan Maglalia says, greetings from Australia. Aye, good day, mate. From the other side of the world. Meow Wang. What's up, JP from the Film IQ, FIQ. Good morning, good evening, Bullet Silence, or good early morning. What vehicle did I buy? I bought a Nissan Rogue. And the reason why I bought a Rogue is because deep down at heart, I am truly a scoundrel. Ugh. I'm a rogue. Actually, my path to the Rogue was very interesting because I originally was looking at the RAV4 because I'm a Toyota guy. I just always liked Toyota. That's just me. I've always liked Toyota. RAV4 was kind of like on my radar. And then, believe it or not, Facebook served me an ad for the Nissan Kick. And the Nissan Kick looked, because it's a fully stocked vehicle, but it's very inexpensive. And I wanted something that was more of a hatchback style car because I have a van. Van carries the big equipment. But sometimes you just want to go with a camera and a tripod. You don't need a whole van for that. And I wanted something that was smaller. But the Kick, just when I got into it, it felt constrictive. It felt a little too small. But I saw the Nissan had the Rogue, and the Rogue, so I went to CarMax. First, I had to get some rabbit food for my bunnies. So I got some rabbit food. Then I went to CarMax, and I was just walking down the line, just looking at all the different models and what I liked. And this particular Nissan Rogue just caught my eye because it had leather interior and it had a sunroof. And I was like, I kind of want those things. And if you saw a Facebook ad, it must be a good car. No, it's just, so what happened, sometimes Facebook just serves you, like, I don't know what models I want. Like, RAV4 was what I was interested in, but I was open to other models because, you're open to whatever other models are out there. And I kind of started liking the Honda CRV, Nissan Rogue, and I went to Nissan, actually Nissan dealership, and I test drove an actual Kick, and I didn't care for it. It was just too small. And I said, well, let me try that Nissan Rogue, because the Rogue was right next to the Kicks, and I tried that, and I liked that. I felt that was good. However, the new cars didn't have the sunroof, and they didn't have the leather seats. And then I was like, well, but if they can offer me a good deal, then I would pick that over buying the used one with the sunroof and the leather seats. And I just let them try to high pressure me into, what can we do to put your sale today? What can we do right now to get you in the car today? I'm like, well, give me a price that's going to beat that used car. If you give me a price that's going to beat that used car, I'll buy a new car. They couldn't do that. Frankly matter. You can't. Because the fact is, when you buy a new car, you're in the first 2 or 3 years, you basically depreciate the entire, the value of the car, the value of the newness of the car just depreciates in the first 2 years. It's just gone. And then if it's a decent car, it will kind of hold value for a little bit. So it's like, shoom, and then it slows down like that. So why would you ever want to buy a new car and then break that depreciation? Like in the first 2 years, you're going to sell it for like 10 grand less. Unless you're like rich, or unless you've got a job that pays really well and you want to have that status symbol of a new car, then that makes sense. But then again, I'm kind of wondering, those people, maybe it's just better to lease a car. Again, I'm not a big car guy. This is what I've like. So they had me in the finance office, and they're trying to like hammer me with this stuff. Oh, we're going to get you. What can we do? How can we make this deal work? What if I did this? Okay, now this is crazy. I'm going to get fired for this. But what if I just brought you down? Would you move on? And I'm just like, yeah, yes. I was like Bernie Mac from Bad Santa. Half. Lower the price to half. And eventually it's like, and I was getting like, because I did the numbers on my phone with the calculators. I did the numbers. I was like, well, that used car is going to cost me this much. Your car is going to cost me that much. And the used car has like a sunroof and it has like leather seats. And you're telling me the new one has cloth seats and doesn't have a sunroof. And if I wanted those things, it'd be like $8,000 more. I don't know. I don't think so. I just dangled them for like, I just puppeteered them for like 20 minutes. I don't feel bad because there was high pressure sales, and it's like, So yeah, they did not get my business. So, thank you very much. I don't think it'll work. Shakes hands, and I'm out of there. Then I go test drive the RAV4. RAV4, great car. Okay. The problem is the RAV4 is also like $8,000 more than the Rogue, and I went back to CarMax and got the Rogue. And I think I like the CarMax because I like the whole idea of I don't like the negotiating stuff. I just don't. It just feels kind of icky and slimy to me. So that's why I didn't go with that. Oh my gosh, all these comments. Oh, all right, here we go. Oh, Count's going to go for an international comment or a flight? Well, good. Best of luck to you. Any stories dealt with bringing film equipment on a plane? I've never had to carry any big equipment. I've carried a camera bag, but I took it as carry-on. The funny story with that was I had to fly to San Francisco. I flew to San Francisco in the morning, like at 5 a.m., flew there with a camera, and I don't think I took a tripod. I might have taken a tripod. Camera and tripod. I flew up there as carry-on. I think I could have carried on a tripod. I don't remember, but I flew up there, got what I needed to shoot, flew back the very same day, and then went to I was playing trumpet in a show. So that was a very busy day from me. Sadiq Hussain says, hi from Birmingham, UK. John, your videos explaining real technical process like sit scan are so well. Thank you for the good work. Thank you very much. I think one of the videos I want to do, because this is a video I feel like I need to do it. I've been talking a lot about 32-bit float. All right, I've been talking a lot about 32-bit float and how you don't need 32-bit float. It's not a bad thing to have, but you don't need it. And people argue with me all the time. Oh, John, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. If you're a solo shooter, it's a game changer. I'm like, I am a solo shooter. And it's not a game changer. So maybe what I want to do is make a video, and just a separate video. I know this information is kind of out there, but I want to put my spin on it, which is more not exactly a sound designer's spin on it or sound recorder's spin, but like a solo shooter guy's, is just how to capture audio. And how to set your levels, because it's not that hard. And I've realized this because I teach a class on video production, and I explain to them, okay, we want to hit minus 20 dB when we're recording audio through our camera or through for our recorders. We want to hit minus 20 dB. That means we have 100 times more signal to go before we clip. So if we set our peaks at a little below negative 20 dB, then we've got 100 times more room for signal from above that. 100 times. Okay. Now you can cross that if you just stick the microphone in your mouth and yells out. You're going to cross it. But we have a nice headroom. The thing is, I get that in their head, but the next part they miss. Okay, now that we have minus 20 dB, when we're editing this, we need to boost that signal because minus 20 dB is going to be too soft for playback. So we need to boost it, and one of the ways we boost it is using compressor with some makeup gain. That's the thing I want to kind of walk through the process. Okay, so we record, set the levels the way we want to set them, and then we gain in post, and we use a compressor to avoid having too loud, those peaks that go above minus 20, we can compress those down. And then I'll show you also how to do loudness radar in Premiere Pro, so you can kind of just keep an eye on your levels and you can tweak them. And I feel like that would be a good video because that would be kind of concise way of just showing you the process. And then 32-bit float, well, it doesn't really change that. Instead of 32-bit float, you're going to have to be lowering some things if you record yourself too hot. Anyhow, I want to do that. What's keeping me from that is I am terrified of sound people. Because sound people, sound recordists, sound design, those people that deal specifically with sound can be terrifying when it comes to online discourse. Because you will, if you want to find someone that's really arrogant on set, this is going to get me in trouble. Look first in the sound department. I probably just sealed my fate, and I will never ever work in this business ever again, because I just said that sound folks can be a little bit arrogant. Well, the fact of the matter is a lot of sound folks come from that audiophile, and audiophiles are the most impossible people to work with online. Like the most just impossible to understand. They get inside this clickiness. So I got to get over my fear. I got to get over my just fear of being corrected to death, and I will be corrected to death, whatever. I should just make this video and just show you, like, okay, here's how do you record sound, and here's the whole process from production. You set your gain, which doesn't take long, and then you post. Okay, and then this is why you don't need 32-bit float. 32-bit float is nice, it's cool, but you got plenty of ways to work it. And a solo shooter can do all of this because there's no one else here. This entire business park is empty, except for me right here streaming to you. Anyhow. My dream car would be the Aston Martin Vantage V8 from 1986, the Bond car from Living Daylights. When I was looking at cars, I quickly realized that I had a price range. My friend Susan was telling me about, she was really interested in these Genesis cars. I've never even heard of that brand, Genesis, but those cars look really, really sweet. But they are like a Genesis used car was $60,000. I'm like, okay. Out of my price range, way out, like almost 3 times my price range. Anyhow, 32-bit was designed for post-production people because a lot of stupid people are doing production. You have no idea how many clients come with my studio with clipped audio and noisy audio. Yeah. Well, 32-bit float is designed for, you're right, post, because when you do post, like if you're doing some sort of effect, some sort of filtering, some other post work, you need that dynamic range, because also 32-bit float has extremely low noise, so you can add effects without adding noise to the whole signal. So it makes complete sense to work in a 32-bit float environment in post production. And to be fair, like, I don't know, it feels like if you have clients coming to you with clipping audio, 32-bit float just means also more work, because you gotta fix everything. But I get it. So 32-bit float's a band-aid. But if you're serious about filmmaking, I keep coming back to this. If you're serious about doing this craft, you should learn how to do it and not rely on this is gonna save my butt. So that's what I'm thinking about. Let's see. I am tone deaf. I would not tell much difference between whatever sound is. Well, it's not about tone deaf. It's about what's the process? Because when I talk to people that say you need 32-bit float, the discussion is they don't understand how to record audio. It's always that. And when I tell you set your peaks to minus 20 dB, well, what does that mean? Set your peaks to minus 20. What's a dB? Now, I'm not going to go exactly into all the details of what dB is, but knowing what 20 dB means, knowing what a peak looks like. Okay, I want to put the highest, understanding the philosophy of why we're recording it this way will help solve a lot of the issues. No more. I know every time I talk about the studios the next one will be United Artists. That will be it. And so I will be working on them eventually. It takes so long to make these, although I've got some clearness in my mind, starting to get more clearness in my mind. So, and the girlfriend and I can talk about we should have some work dates, and she works on her thing and I work on my thing, and that would be an excellent place to write some studios essays. 32-bit float is only necessary to record a get engine up close. Most people don't need it. Well, so there's another caveat to that, is if your microphone can even handle it. So most microphones, most like shotgun microphones, are only rated up to about 128 decibels. Like beyond that, you're basically rattling the electronics. So if you have a microphone capable of even louder than that, then you could say 32-bit float would cover. But if you were trying to record an engine sound with a microphone that has a max of 128 decibels SPL, you can just turn it down. Turn down your recorder, set your gain lower, and you will never have an issue with 24-bit at all. So that's the other caveat that people miss. Like I was doing, so I did that HoloLand review, and I knew somebody would complain that the HoloLand recorders wouldn't have or were not good because they don't have 32-bit float. And if you look at the specs, though, the microphone itself has a max pressure of 128 decibels, and it has a noise floor of like 20 or 30 decibels. So there's actually a 70 decibel range. Dynamic range, just the microphone just the microphone capsule by itself was 70 decibels of dynamic range. That fits perfectly in the 24-bit. You don't need 32-bit. In fact, 24-bit covers that and more of the actual microphone capsule. Now, if you were to plug in another microphone into the socket, maybe you could extend that further, but I'm just saying questionably, because I don't know what high-end microphone you would be plugging into the thing that would have a little mini jack. So who knows, right? So I'm not going to make blanket statements. So anyhow, you have 70 decibel range. There's no need for 32-bit float. And I was looking at the other ones that were offering 32-bit float, and it's kind of hard to compare apples and apples because they're not giving you all the specs. You have to kind of pick and choose. And those other like little body or wireless transmitters also have 128 decibel max SPL, and they also have a noise floor of 20, 30 decibels. They didn't tell me about dynamic range, but it's like, well, then you're paying for 32-bit float, which you will never be able to use. And I kind of got a little miffed one time when I bought the wireless Go's thinking that they were 32-bit float, like wireless Go, the original wireless Go 2s, because they advertised them as 32-bit float. And then I went on there, I was like, this is not, and I tried to do the whole thing where I had some clipped audio. I was like, let's see if we can get it to work. Nope, because it wasn't 32-bit float. It only can output 32-bit float inside the app, but it's already recording in 24-bit. But you can export it as 32-bit if you want. And it's like, well, and then people were bringing this up, and I looked it up. It's like, what happened? Apparently, they realized that the marketing didn't understand what 32-bit float was. Even though the Rode app could do 32-bit float, the actual recorder was not doing 32-bit float. So anyhow, this is becoming my favorite topic because no one understands this stupid topic. And my argument with people is always about, like, you don't even know what you're doing. So anyhow, what new movies have I seen lately? Honestly, I haven't seen anything in a long time. I've been kind of so busy with stuff. Last movie I saw was Dune 2. I think that was the last movie I saw. Oh, we did watch Roadhouse last night. So my friends do kind of like a bad entertaining movie night. And myself and my other friend had seen Roadhouse, but everyone else hadn't seen Roadhouse. And I was like, okay, well, we have to watch Roadhouse. So I watched Roadhouse last night. It's interesting because one of my friends is like, hey, did this movie win an Oscar for this? I'm like, no, it didn't. It got a Razzie. It got a Razzie. It's as far as you can get from a Oscar. Deity wireless mics have cool feature. They can transmit time code as well as 2 channels. Yeah. I guess Deity does. So does the Rode Go Wireless Pro. I don't think they call it the Go Pro. So there actually transmits time code, which I think was more valuable than the 32-bit thing. The 32-bit thing is just fluff. But yeah. You saw Dune 2 was epic. I loved it. Poor Things I found a bit underwhelming. I haven't seen Poor Things yet. My friend said I should watch it on Hulu, I think, like that. Everything you said about this is piquing. Piquing my interest in audio. Please make this video. I think I should, because it's to me, I feel like I've covered it, but I haven't put it in this succinct of a term, like it's succinct of a video. Just solo shooter's guide to recording audio, vocal dialogue, something like that. Because it's not that hard. It isn't. What gets people is the idea that they need to record really close to the top of really close to peaking. They get this idea that they need to be like, oh, I need to be exposing to the left when it comes to audio. Like, no, it doesn't work that way at all. Now, Roadhouse the original with Patrick Swayze. Rode Wireless Pro. That's the one I have. Cool. There you go. Harold's cat says Sig Meow. Don't clip that part, please. How do you overcome the lack of positive motivation for work or creativity? One thing is, I'll be honest, exercise. Exercise has helped me out a lot. Doctor told me to try to get some form of exercise every day. And then you will do it 5 days a week, or 3 days a week, or 4 days a week. But if you try to do it every day, you will fail. And that's fine, because we're really aiming for like 4 or 5. But if you do it every day, you'll get the mindset. So I've been walking a lot. Today I walked 6 miles. Well, that's because I left my old car at the car lot, and I drove my new car home. And I didn't want to pay for a Lyft or an Uber, because it was like $15. What am I, made for money? I just bought a new car. I don't have the money to freaking pay for an Uber. So I walked. Here's my game plan today. Is I walked to. It's a 6 mile trek from my house to the lot, and I decided, well, here's what I'll do. I'll walk a little bit, and I'll go to the middle. There's a Panda Express. I'm going to have lunch there. I'll have lunch, and then I'll get an Uber from the Panda Express to the car lot. And I had lunch, and I felt so good. My muscles and my thighs were like tingling. I got that swole feel, right? I got that the pump. It's a pump. So you got the pump in your legs. I can't do Arnold with that. So I had lunch, and I felt really good. And I was like, oh, I can do this. So I just walked the rest of the way. And so that kind of opens up your body and opens up kind of your spirit. I've been eating better. I've been trying to avoid carbs a lot. I still eat carbs. Believe me, I still love carbs and I still eat them, but I don't eat them as much. So like I avoid chips, and I avoid, I'll have a fry or two, but I won't make fries a big thing, and I won't, so the other night we went to Korean food, and they give you like rice and all the Korean stuff. And then like I ordered like this short rib, which was delicious. Oh my gosh, that was so good. But I just barely touched the rice. So I've been doing a lot of that, the thing about dieting too. I know you asked the question, you thought you were going to get you're going to get like the Joe Rogan advice, right? The thing about dieting is, if you diet in a way that makes you feel starved and makes you feel deprived, you will not be able to hold on to that diet. Because this is coming from a fat man who's been dieting for many, many years. And it's always like, I'm going to try to restrict my diet. I'm going to just do this. And then eventually just give up, because it's just not going to work. So what I'm trying to do is replace the carbohydrates, which don't have a way to satiate you. Like, carbohydrates just don't satiate. You can eat a bunch of carbs, and then an hour later, you're still hungry. But like proteins and fats do satiate, and they satiate for a long time. So I kind of aim more for that, and then less of the carbs, which makes me feel more comfortable the rest of the day, and makes me, more confident. And if I'm more confident, I'm more creative, and I can do stuff. I don't feel like a job's going to take 2 hours when it's really going to take me 20 minutes, kind of a thing. So doing all of that sort of makes me a little more stronger and more creative, and that's starting to work, and everything is starting to kind of come together. And I got a big project coming up, which was going to take me away from like Filmmaker IQ stuff, but who knows? Maybe I can squeeze it in other hours of the day. With a great amount of brands and gear and gadgets, how do you know whether the thing is good? Or since you can't test them before purchase, the reviews are mostly shill. Good question. Amazon is a good buyer to buy stuff from because their return policy is fairly robust. Like you can just buy something and try it out. That's a bad advice. Buy something and try it out. If you really don't like it, send it back. And then the other thing is, trusted brands if you're looking at something from Rode, from Shure, I'm talking about audio gear, Rode, Shure, HoloLens's kind of new in it, but HoloLens getting more of a reputation. What's another one? Samson. I'm trying to think of audios, Sennheisers and stuff like that. If they're established brands, you're probably going to be pretty good. It's when you get these weird Chinese knockoffs that are obviously too cheap. Try them out. If they feel like junk, send them back. Although I got kind of pissed off at Amazon because I ordered 5 of these little retractable LAN cable thingies. I use a lot of LAN cables now for networking. And I ordered a 5-pack and I got 1. I'm like, this is not what I ordered. I paid $30 for 5, not for 1. It's not worth, this is a $10 retractable cable. It's not worth $30. So I sent it back. I said, yeah, I need a replacement. Okay, got the replacement. I got 1. I got pissed off. It's like, I'm returning this thing. And I called up Amazon and say, hey, this sale thing is a 5-pack and they're sending 1-packs. Clear your stuff. Fix it. And they let me keep it. And then that's that. Workout and diet control are literally the only things you need to do. I lost 15 kilos. Oh, 15 kilos in 3 months. 1 good meal a day, workout. I have, from my tippy top point, which is probably mid-December to now, I'm down about 25 pounds, which is going to be about 12 kilos. So that's about 3 months myself. So I'm close to you there. But yeah, no, and I shock myself. Now, obviously, some of that is weight, water loss, and some things like that. You gotta be realistic. It's not always going to be dropping like a pound every day. There's going to be fluctuations. I'm going to go back up soon because I'm going to refill my stomach with food, and it's going to go like this. But hopefully, the trend is going to be doing downward. That's the whole idea. But seriously, diet and exercise will help your brain out a lot. So yeah, if you're stuck creatively, go for a walk. Get outside or go to the gym, or if you don't live in good weather. I've been doing a lot of walking and a lot of swimming. Like I like swimming too because to me it's like a full body thing. You get in a rhythm, and I'm a trumpet player, so I like to work on the lung capacity. It's been helping me breathe better. Yep, analog audio has headroom for audio capturing. You cannot clip. The digital recorders clip audio around the top, so to create them, they set the headroom to -20. Exactly. I had some polarized conversation with filmmakers about traditional camera versus the DJI Ronin 4D. I love the new capabilities of having Z-axis stabilization. Your thoughts? The DJI Ronin 4D is its own camera. It's got its place if you want to use it for a certain kind of shot. That's cool. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't talk you out of using it, or talk you into using it. I think it's got its place. So there's that. People who switch to a purely carnivore diet show insane progress, and the medical and tests show perfect, better than health. Kind of rad. Unfortunately, my country makes it difficult to do that. So the other thing, you be careful with diet advice because everybody is different. Okay, so what works for me may not work for you, and I know for a fact, it would not work for my girlfriend. Would not do well on this diet because she doesn't react well to meat. So stuff like that. People are all different, and so you got to find what works for yourself. And sometimes you do need to try different things, right? So if you low carb, I could never do carnivore diet because I like veggies. I like veggies and I like carbs. Carnivore diet would be too restrictive, and then it would probably cause me to crash. So yeah, carnivore diet. I mean, I just warn against people, don't be super restrictive. Hey, Bruin Flight, welcome to the show. And we did a lot of returns their account. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. So yep, return away. That's what Amazon's for. Once your body changes, your diet will fit your body weight, and it got easier. Then eating too much will feel worse. Yeah, I've kind of started having that too. Like I can't eat too much. Like I went to all you can eat sushi, and it used to be the most dangerous thing with me was all you can eat sushi, because that's a lot of carbs you're ingesting. Well, I went to all you can eat sushi, and what they do it around here. You have 3 rounds. And I only got through the first round, and I was like, I am stuffed, and I'm going to be paying for this in the morning. And you know what? The next day, I actually lost like 0.2 pounds. So still did okay. I heard they shot that new Civil War movie with the Ronin 4D. That's cool. I don't know. So I want to hit you guys with something that may sound harsh, but the good answer to that is I don't care. I don't care what anybody shoots anything on. Like for me, it's not they shot this with this. Like, cool. So what? I don't know. I mean, yeah. A movie like Civil War could have afforded a Steadicam operator, could afford everything they want. No biggie. So, not to be mean, not to be harsh. I'm not trying to come off as like cruel and uncaring about what. It's just like don't ever judge. Don't ever base your opinion on any camera. Don't ever base your opinion on gear because somebody else used it for something. Like, you got to evaluate that for your own self. You can't, you go ahead and rent one or something and try it out and see if it fits into your workflow, fits into your style. And then you can make that decision. But like, they shot, you could say like, well, they shot Pulp Fiction on film. I'm going to shoot that film. I want to shoot on film. They shot Hoyt. That one guy got in trouble for saying, they shot Oppenheimer on film, and you guys all should shoot film. It's cool. Yeah. I would love to be able to shoot film. I just don't have a studio backing me to pay for that. Certain exposures listening while replacing light seals on his RB68 Pro S. Did you end up trying any new funky film stocks? No, I have not. I was going to shoot some film, but I got the opportunity kind of went away. So hopefully I'll get some film. Now I shoot stills, but I did purchase some Fuji 400. I forget what it's called. Some people were saying it's basically Fuji is sort of a rebranded Kodak Max film. I never shot Kodak Max, so I'm kind of curious. We'll see. I don't know. Well, I'll get around to shooting it eventually. When are the kitchen sinks coming out? Probably pretty soon, because I think I know an angle with that. I think I know an angle how to do that. So I think that will definitely be one of the next things. Fuji is back in the film world, at least. I'm talking about film. I mean, I don't know. I guess Fuji has their Fuji X camera that people like about. Camera talks are the most boring conversations creative types ever talk about. I brought my 5D Mark II because my classmate bragged about 10 years ago. Now I got a working $2,500 camera for $300. There you go. Yeah, I don't care about cameras. Honestly, I barely care about gear. If it works, it works. And if it helps me, I care about gear when it helps me solve a problem. Like when it solves a problem for me, that's when I love gear. But like otherwise, I have a hard time caring. Like I like my new car because a couple features I love. I love adaptive cruise control. I love like steering assistance, and I love the parking cameras. Oh my gosh, I love the parking cameras so much. I would probably marry the parking cameras because I always get, ever since I drive the big van around, I always get super paranoid about parking in slots because I don't want to be parked too close to another car because that car is so wide that if I park, I can block someone in their car. So it always terrifies me. So having that feature is so nice. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you guys. Bullet Sign says, buy lights and glass and decent tripod. Cameras change. Yeah, cameras change too often to buy. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, well, if you're doing a business like a videography business where you need a camera at a moment's notice, then cameras are something you have to buy because you can't rent them. It doesn't make financial sense to be renting a camera every single job that you do. But, right, the camera will grow old and it'll be replaced by the next model. But you can apply that same glass across the camera model. So the glass will be, I have tripods that I bought when I first started. I have tripods that I've had for like 20 years. They'll last forever. But the glass, that'll last for good forever unless I break them. Bowdies, yeah, they come and go, but the ones C70, I feel like that's got staying power. But I did. So I'm a sucker for auctions, right? I'm a real sucker for auctions. And so I went on an auction and I bought let me just look at my time here. I bought a spotlight, because I've always loved the look of a spotlight. And spotlights are basically impossible to do unless you have a spotlight. Like, I want a tight, round beam of light so I can do hand puppets. No, that's not the only reason I want a spotlight, but I love spotlights. And if the easiest way to get a spotlight effect with a smallish light is to use what's called ellipsoidal. And Source 4s are an example of that. You can use ellipsoidal to get a very tight spotlight beam, okay? But still, to me, but what if I wanted a big, fat, spotlight? Here's a spotlight. Spotlight, please. And then that's the light, right? So I ended up buying a single spotlight on an auction site for $50. And I'm happy. Now that I found out that the people that sold me that spotlight, put it on auction, were folks that I knew because we didn't work together. And so I got there and I say, hey, how you doing? Oh, yeah, you John. Yeah, you're okay, cool. He's like, I got a spotlight from you guys. Like, yeah, cool. Hey, do you want 2 other ones? I'm like, well, do I? What kind of price can you make on me? He's like, well, I'll give them both of you for $100. And I'm like, all right. So now I own 3 spotlights. The one I bought for $50 is kind of a smaller one. It's a tungsten one. It's not bad, but it's for indoor. But I bought 2 massive spotlights that are HMIs, 575 watt HMI spotlights. And they're bright enough where I could use it outside and still spotlight something. It's not super bright, but it's bright enough to be outside in midday sun, bright sun, and you could still see it. So indoors, yeah, that's going to be bright. But they look like a deck gun from a battleship. They're like this big, and they're like this round, and they got their own like heavy duty stand. And yeah, they're tested. They're both working. So I got 3 spotlights, and I don't know why I necessarily bought them because I don't have a job for it. But hey, I got 3 spotlights for $150. So gear acquisition syndrome. That's me. Yeah, 750 watt Source 4s, but were they HMI Source 4s? So the HMI makes it even brighter. I think I have an HMI. I do have an HMI that's more like a Source 4. So I think the one I have is a 500 watt HMI too. So they're pretty bright. But what am I going to do with them? They're just sitting back there. Where do I get respooled stock? I don't buy respooled stock. I'm too chicken. I am too chicken to buy that stuff. I just buy new in box film, and I have to shoot some. I wanted to shoot some. They just cut the motion picture stock and load them in the 35 millimeter canister. Oh, that's interesting. Depends where you get them from. I don't think I ever heard your story about how you got into filmmaking and videos I've watched. I'd love to hear it. Okay. So basically, it's not that interesting. When I was a kid, I liked doing videos. I liked making little videos with my dad's video camera, but I wasn't so crazy about it. Then in high school, I did a bunch of little videos that were kind of making spoofs of, like, at that time, Titanic had just come out, so I made a spoof of Titanic. I made a spoof of Mission Impossible. I made a spoof of 2001: Space Odyssey. I made a spoof of like Charlie Chaplin and stuff like that. And I made these because I was part of the academic decathlon. I know I don't look like a nerd at all, and yet I did academic decathlon. I look like a hunky, like, sports guy. I should have been like I had long blonde hair at the time. I had a 6-pack abs, and I'm just kidding, obviously. I was probably uglier than I am today because the beard hides the ugly, the fugly. But no, so I did these academic decathlon videos, and I found that I just loved doing them. I loved doing them. It was so much fun. And back in those days, we had Premiere, but it was like Premiere 3.0 or whatever nonsense. And I didn't even edit in Premiere. I edited with 3D Studio Max. It was insane. My technique was weird. But again, because we didn't have, like, the iMovie was not a thing back in those days, right? You know, the first time I edited a video was 2 VCRs, push play, push record, that kind of thing, right? So, but, you know, I was like, yeah, this is a fun hobby, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go to school for business. So I went to business school. I went to University of California, Riverside, and I got my business degree. But sometime in my third year going there, I thought, you know, I still like making movies and I still like making videos. If there's a way I can maybe work in Hollywood or work in something as a business major. So I started looking at internships, and I found an internship where we would make commercials for local cable advertising. So that's got started in local cable advertising. I did that for many, many years. And then Filmmaker IQ was born out of frustration on MySpace, because I still wanted to make films, you know, but I was making commercials and stuff. Filmmaker IQ was born out of MySpace, and Filmmaker IQ kind of grew and grew and grew, and that's where we are today. That's the story. There you go. I just picked up a third 1200 and a Desisti 2500, 4000. HMI is where it is at. HMIs are fun, yeah. Yeah, don't touch HMIs with your bare hands. Absolutely. Salts will cause them to crack. Use gloves and alcohol to clean. Good point. Okay, noob question. How do I go about determining the minimum wattage I would want in a LED panel to shoot T4 in midday scene? Oof. Okay, so, all right, so wattage doesn't matter in LEDs. You're looking at lumen output, okay? So maybe somebody can kind of help me out here. Bullet Science recommends a light meter. So basically, you've got to compete with the sun, and you've got to figure out, okay, what is the sun's output at this particular point, at this one spot? And you can use a light meter to actually measure the candles per meter squared and all that stuff. So you got to figure out, well, how much light does my LED thing will that produce at this particular distance? That's how you would calculate it. Now, if you're talking about fighting the sun, you're going to look at like something like aperture. One of those aperture light storms, the really high ones, like the 6. They're not too expensive. They're not as expensive as I thought they would be. So there's some really bright ones that Aperture makes that will be able to compete with the sun. You're obviously not going to be looking for like a cheap Chinese like LED panel. This is not going to work. So yeah, don't look at wattage with LEDs. Look at lumen output, and then you can try to calculate that, I think. And then if everyone else has any comments or thoughts on how to do that, I think that's what it is. HMI. What is HMI? I forget. Let's look up what HMI stands for. I think it's like not human machine interface. HMI light. Hydrargyrum medium arc iodide. HMI. So it's a gas. So here, let's read about it. Let's learn with John as we get. Let's put on our nerd glasses as if we don't have them on already. Here, hydrargyrum medium arc iodide lamp. HMI is a trademark name for Osram's brand of metal halide gas discharge medium arc lamps made specifically for film and entertainment applications. Hydrogen comes from the Greek name for the element mercury. An HMI lamp uses mercury vapor mixed with metal halides in a quartz glass envelope, 2 tungsten electrodes, and a medium arc separation. Unlike traditional lighting units using incandescent light bulbs, HMI need electrical ballasts, which are separated from the head via a header cable to limit the current and supply proper voltage. The lamp operates by creating an electrical arc between 2 electrodes within the bulb that excite pressurized mercury vapor and metal halides, and provides a very high light output with greater efficiency than incandescent lighting. The efficiency advantage is near 4-fold, approximately 85 to 108 lumens per watt of electricity. Unlike regular incandescent light bulbs, which halide gas used to regenerate the filament and keep the evaporated tungsten from darkening the mercury glass, mercury vapor and metal halides in the HMI lamps are what emits the light. The high rendering index and color are due to specific lamp chemistry. So, and I believe the actual voltage that comes out of these is like insanely high. I'm trying to see if we. So you plug them into 120 volt lights, but I believe they get to like thousands, if not like 12,000. I mean, they're really high voltage because you got to send that light. That you got to create that arc between these two spots, and that needs a lot of high voltage. So, oh, there we go. HMI lamps can reach ignition voltages of up to 70,000 volts when striking hot, and are considered very dangerous if miswired. A good practice is to light the light from the ballast, is to strike the light from the ballast and not the head. In the event there's a short circuit in the lamp head, proper striking procedure should be sharp. So forth. Whenever possible, the exhaust tip should be oriented up or 45 degrees. This is all Wikipedia. And by the way, if anybody complains about Wikipedia not being a good source, I'm so tired of that argument. Wikipedia, yes, is not always a reliable source. Trust me, it is not always perfectly reliable. However, doesn't mean that stuff on Wikipedia isn't valid. There's a difference between always trustworthy and always. Just because something's not always trustworthy doesn't mean it can't be valid. I've had arguments with people, and it's like you're arguing against what Wikipedia says, but you're not making an argument of what it says. You're just saying it's Wikipedia, we shouldn't trust it. No, because there are people on Wikipedia that are insanely anal about correct information. So I think Wikipedia is, for the most part, good. You just have to watch it. You have to, cross-reference sometimes. But yeah, it's not always wrong. Anyhow, am I killing you with my pronunciation of hydragyrum? Just don't plug more than one HMI in an electrical ring made. Electrical board will go poof. Yeah, probably not. Not going to lie, this stream is legendary. I don't know about that. HMI sounds like a good video for a yeah, it probably would be a good video. Why not? That'd be kind of fun to do. How does HMI... See, I always wanted to do a lighting video because that's one part of my series. I've never made a lighting series. Like, I've never kind of gone down that rabbit hole. But maybe I could do parts of it, like HMI and all that stuff. I know this is Filmmaker IQ, but the only thing I want to know is, what is it good for? What is it bad for? The process itself. I don't care less about whether, unless I love it too. I could not care much about unless I love it too much. Talk about HMI, because So what the advantage of HMI is, you get 4 times as much output compared to incandescent. Now HMI, like compared to LED, yeah, LEDs probably now, if you get super high brightness LEDs, they'll probably start. I don't know if kicking the butt of HMIs, but it's sort of the new thing. And HMIs don't have flicker, so that's nice about HMI. They're full color, so the colors rendition is beautiful on HMI. It's not like they're daylight balanced, so, and they're very powerful. So that's why you would like HMI. That's why it is kind of a more like higher production value. It's more people that have more. I hate to say it. The people that have more experience in production will reach for HMIs more rather than like just, it's not something you're going to find in a garage of like, oh, I'm going on Amazon, buy a newer HMI. No, newer is never going to make an HMI light. Well, I like newer, but it's not, You can only go up to 2,500 watts with HMI in a normal household. Okay. Anything over that needs a different power source. Studios can have 63 amp and step downs for this. There you go. Yeah, for science stuff, Wikipedia is almost always correct. Yeah, most of the time. I've added some stuff on some of the photography stuff because I felt like it's quite misleading, and it stayed up there. But remember, like Wikipedia it's not a free for all. Like Wikipedia is not go on there and just change whatever you want. Because if it were, then every page would be full of crap. That's kind of like the way I always approach life and history. Is like I take. If there is in economics, I remember in high school learning this, like there's a fallacy of the group, right? If, let's say we were at a baseball game, sorry for all the international people, but baseball games have something called innings. And you say, well, let's leave at the 7th inning, even though the game's not over, but we're going to leave early because then we'll avoid the traffic of trying to get out of the game because they've already won. And, they're way ahead and they're not going to lose. So we're going to leave at the 7th inning and go home early so we'll beat the traffic. Well, if you do that, if everybody does that, then it destroys the strategy of leaving early, because everyone's leaving early. Now we're all stuck, right? Because we're all decided to leave early. So my point of all of that was that, not like, if you follow, like, Wikipedia is so easy to edit that anybody can do it. Well, if you follow that all the way to the extreme and you follow it, then every page should be full of crap, full of misinformation and all that junk. But it's not. So it's not as easy to edit as people think it is. And if you really want to get serious and use it for like serious research, go to the bottom and look at the sources, and that will help a lot. Anyhow, you also haven't covered color management. Yeah, color management though is, well, okay, color management. Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. Color, man, the thing I kind of hate, to be frankly honest, and is like, well, you can't do serious color grading unless you have a X amount of dollar monitor, right? Because, oh, don't do color grading on that monitor, it's crap. Never do color. Now, true, there are monitors that are crap, right? But you know, there are monitors that don't give you accurate color. But the thing is, this is not a color corrected monitor, right? The monitor that my client's going to watch the video on is probably not color corrected, not like really color managed. The stuff on YouTube, people are going to watch it in all kinds of different color things. Now, look, I get it. If you are producing stuff for Netflix and well, even Netflix is, you know, I've heard tell, like, people say, well, we correct it as good as we can in this situation, but they have what's called a confidence monitor. They have they'll have like the high dollar color monitor. They judge the color on that. However, they also have like a medium color, and then like a crappy color. And then they'll throw it on like their iPad and watch it on an iPad, because most people are consuming it on less than perfect technology. So anyhow. So what's the long way of going around talking about color management? Color management, just stick to Rec 709, or if you're going to try to go for HDR Rec 2020, just line everything up. And it's difficult because, you know, the internet runs on sRGB and everything else is Rec 709. So you just have to just accept stuff. If I could take a class with any director, who would it be? Have you been asked this question a lot? No, I've never been asked that question. If a class with any director, to be honest, I would most like to take a directing class from David Lynch, because that guy, I think I would start going down the whole transcendental meditation stuff, because that guy is like more like, you know, have a cup of coffee and then go deep into the psyche, and I kind of dig that. I don't know. I feel like I would. I don't know. I feel like I would more tend to be closer to. Oh, you know who I would like? It would be the guy that did American Beauty, not Peter Weir, the other dude. Sam something. American Beauty. Sam Mendes. I didn't even find it. I think Sam Mendes would be cool to learn from, because I think right now in my life and the way I want to pursue my film activities, I want to go more into acting and story and performance and less into technical stuff. So I think Sam Mendes would be kind of the person that I would try to be close to what I want to be. So there's your answer. Recommend a recent movie that you actually liked after a long time. Recent movie that you actually liked after a long time. Not quite sure what that means. I liked Dune 2. I really like Godzilla -1. And that's pretty recent, right? There you go. Go watch Godzilla -1. Orson Welles said watching too many movies all the time, getting soaked into movies is a bad thing because it can lead you to being too self-conscious. Yeah, that's true. I think that's really true. Observing real art and real life and arts is generally what will shape one's artist's unique perspective. I tend to agree. I think, and also sometimes you just need to get to the truth, and the truth is what the art is. And sometimes if you get too fluffy and too like, okay, we gotta have color, we gotta have this, we gotta have that, and then the truth just kind of lags. It's not truthful. All monitors are crap. They always trigger the OCD in me. Once you put your work on a different screen, the colors are off. True. That's why they say the guy that has the final say in the color of a movie is the projectionist. What do you think about adding the black shade calibration modern hybrid cameras to kill digital noise in low light and dark scenes? Well, if it works, it works. I love people trying to get me on really technical answers, and I'm going to give it to you right there. If it works, brilliant. So there's a huge disconnect between the environment of which films are graded and calibrated 40,000 nit monitors, the wide color gamut, and it's what almost everybody has. Yep. Yeah, so that's why Game of Thrones looks so dark on most people's computers, most people's TVs. That's what I like about analog media. It's almost all the same. Well, yeah, they make fun of Americans who are NTSC, never the same color, but TVs still had a wide range. Yeah, David Lynch does have a master class. He has a whole like college dedicated to him now. So, but I want to sit down with David Lynch and hear him talk about what, I'm David Lynch and I like this thing. I like David Lynch. Mid-range display when calibrated can produce excellent color accuracy. There you go. That's the thing. But I just hate that fact that people say, well, I can't believe you're color correcting on that monitor. Like there's things you can do. You can look at scopes. You can look at scopes. Scopes tell you, like really, scopes will tell you objectively what's going on. Do you think other departments like props, set filmmaking deserve the same residuals as actors? No. I'm sorry to say. Because unfortunately, no. Sorry. I barely think actors actors can be, actors who reach a certain level get residuals. Okay? Because actors who were a certain level are part of the marketing of the film, to be honest. Like, and I get that a lot of actors, even lower down, do get residuals. Performers get residuals. But part of that though is that an actor, I think you're making me think this out loud here, or make me think through this. But like in a theater, an actor performs for a show and gets paid for a show, and then the show's done. And then you want to see the show again. Okay, then you got to pay the performers to do it again. So that's how they can keep a living as a performer, right? But if you're an actor on a movie, you just do it once, and then that movie can be played over and over and over and over and over again, ad infinitum till infinity, right? So that's why I feel like performers do have a right to residuals. Does the prop maker have a right to residual? Well, not necessarily. Now, the caveat there, because set designers do perhaps get residual. Well, in a theater, set designers could possibly get residuals because they will allow to rent out their sets again for performance. But I have a harder time squaring the peg as far as like saying, a prop maker needs to get a residual because they did a movie once and they should. It just doesn't quite jive with me. So that's what best I can give you right now. I'm trying to have to wrestle with that furthermore, but I just, off the top of my head, no. Like you shouldn't have to pay a prop maker residuals. But I don't know. Maybe I'm off on that. Color management is way more complex than setting it to Rec 79. I asked Aurora Gordon to give me reading material, so she actually did. And now I have 12 books to go through. Well, go through those books because I don't think I can help you with that. I'm not going to go beyond the color management. That's beyond what I can handle. I read a crazy suggestion that studios send notes to directors making streaming scenes shorter and less complex because people will be watching while texting, swiping through Instagram Reels. Not untrue, to be fair. Not untrue. Have I seen Anatomy of Fall, Holdovers, Past Lives, Perfect Flowers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, American Fiction, or Zone of Interest? No, unfortunately, I have not seen anything of those. Thelma, who was Scorsese's great editor, and said, I never forget, her advice for making film is to first have a life. There you go. There's also Chuck Jones, and there's that one, Every Frame of Painting, and they asked Chuck Jones, obviously Bugs Bunny and all those stuff, like, what should I study to become a great artist and great cartoon filmmaker? What should I study? And Chuck Jones is like, study life, study philosophy, study literature, study anything but filmmaking. Just go out there and make something like that. I think residuals should be based on the artist's contribution to a project. Yeah, it generally is. The problem, though, is props, though. It's hard to figure out what the contribution. Like, so it's okay to make a statement like, I think it should be based on their artistic contribution to a project. But the question is, like, what does that mean? Like, how can you quantify, like the person that designed the Batmobile, how do you quantify that agreement? Like, okay, you are like, how much of this project is based on the Batmobile design? And I think if you want to really break it down, it has to go back to basically economics. We're going to get Adam Smith in here, capitalism. It's the price that they agree to. Now, you might have a famous prop maker that says, if you want me to work on this project, I demand X amount of money up front and a 2% back end. And then the people are like, okay, well, you're a legendary prop maker. We know that your work on this project is going to make our movie sing, and people are going to come see it because of that, because of your involvement. Okay, we agree to that. But I don't think anybody could actually do that. I mean, Ray Harryhausen might be able to pull that off in his old day when he starts with, in regards to stop motion animation. He might have been able to pull off that deal and pull off that request in the negotiation. But I don't think anybody else could. I don't think anyone else is out there can actually make that work. Anyhow. Tone mapping is to help fit a content to the TV that's not good for a reference monitor when it's reversed some artistic intent. But tone map algorithms on TVs, even some great ones, are horrible. Well, things are getting better, as he says. So, there you go. I think I'm up to an hour here, right? I've been going for an hour. We'll go for a few more minutes, and I got to get going because I want to go to the gym and sit in the jacuzzi before they close. Streaming does not help in terms of, streaming is not helpful for, like, streaming doesn't help in terms of bit rate and reduced bit rates and all that stuff. I don't know. To me, I don't care that much. You're barking up the wrong tree. Yeah, actors make or break your films. You have to respect them. They are the ones who take most of the blame, so it's right that they take the reward, not the unusual perspective for some reasons. I agree. I totally agree. Like, actors, if a movie is bad, the actors are the ones that have the public face. So the actors are embarrassed. Like, if your movie is bad, the prop maker is not going to get, oh my gosh, you made props for Twilight? Oh, how dear Lord. No, the prop maker is just going to go make some more props for some other stuff. So yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Wing It, you're late. Dude. How can you be late? I mean, it's not like I publish the times I'm going live, because I don't. Really? Why aren't you on the phone, on YouTube, like 24/7, just waiting for the notification to... Sorry. I know. I'm trying to like schedule time. My weekends get weird and busy and all that. Jacuzzi sounds good. It sure does. Believe me. Like, I walked 6 miles today and I'm tired. I want to get in the jacuzzi for a little bit and sit. Streaming is not that bad digitally shot movies. Yeah, because you have the film grain to mess it up, maybe. Unless you're watching on a 4K HDR data projector, Netflix bit rates are good enough. That's kind of feel. I feel like, yeah. Netflix is actually pretty high bit rate too. It's like YouTube. Anything with film grain, very grainy, streaming looks pretty bad. Yeah. When do I usually stream? I try to usually stream. I was for a while thinking I might stream on Mondays because my weekends get busy, but I don't know. It's usually Sunday or Monday or Saturday, depends. And I know I'm bad at it, but it's just the nature of my schedule is like I shoot a lot of stuff on weekends, and I go and hang out with people on weekends. So it's kind of becoming difficult to figure out exact time for stuff to do. I could just, that's why I was kind of leaning toward like Mondays. Like I could do a Monday stream and just lock that in. But even Mondays get weird. So it is what it is. So hang out for a little bit, catch me when you can. Catch me if you can. That's funny. And yeah, okay. Well, that's good. So it's 6:40 for I got 1 hour of jacuzzi time. Like I get my butt over there. Then I'll probably end up like, I don't think I'll go grocery shopping. I think I'll just get some fast food because I walk 6 miles. I can take a little fast food. I'll be okay. So Netflix, YouTube video against 4K Blu-ray is night and day. There you go. I agree with that. I don't think I have a 4K Blu-ray player. I don't think my PS4 doesn't do that. All right. Anyhow. All right, folks. That was a fun hour stream. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back for some more next week. I'm sure we'll get together next week. We will. It will happen. Very good. All right, everybody. We shall see you later. Filmmaker IQ. I am out. Fade to black.